We are now live. It's Wednesday. It's Real Estate 101 with me. Look how much bigger I look than you today.
You're a big man. No?
I'm a hefty gentleman. Do I look like I'm towering over Brian Burns?
Yeah, you got your stool up higher. I can raise my stool up too.
I don't know if we can get that one up or not.
Look at that.
Keep her steady. Everybody that gets on here, Brad Elam, I'll call you back today. Would you do me a favor, Brad? Share the stream. There is a good chance you may actually buy one of this man's houses one day. I bet you. Has Brad Elam ever sold one of your houses?
Brad has.
Has he really?
Yeah, Brad's a good agent. I've always enjoyed dealing with him.
He is a great agent. Roy Frazier, our breakfast guy. Today's show, Roy Frazier is the sponsor. I'm getting my insurance through Roy right now on a new investment property. Who's your preferred insurance guy?
I don't really.
Roy Frazier.
Roy Frazier. How about that?
It's Roy Frazier. All right, every Wednesday, me at AKA The Weatherman come to you live. We do Real Estate 101. Today, Weatherman's in there handling business, and I've got Brian Burns up in here, owner of Blue Sky Construction. Thanks for coming on here, friend.
I'm glad to be here.
And here's something I want to tell everybody. All the people out there that talk about Brian, I don't know if they know, he's a black belt. He is a black belt in how many different karates?
Oh, just one karate.
But what about jiu-jitsu?
I do jiu-jitsu also.
Okay, how long have you been building?
I started building in 1995.
1995. You're not from Murfreesboro, but you came to school here, right?
Yeah, I moved here in '87, so I'm from Crossville originally.
What kind of town is Crossville, Tennessee? Is that where do they raise you to be rumble, tumble, rough?
Crossville is half rumble, tumble, tough, and half retired Northerners. You know, it's the golf capital of Tennessee, so.
Is that Fairfield Glade, or where is Fairfield Glade?
Fairfield Glade's in Crossville. Okay. I grew up in Lake Tansy, or close to Lake Tansy, which is another resort town.
All right, we're getting started. Everybody, if you're on here, please share the stream. I'll come back. If you are the lucky one chosen, I will give you one gift card for $25 to the Alley on Main. So if you got any questions, always comment, like, share the love. All right, I got a series of questions, professional style here, of course, and I did not wear what I wanted to wear today because I'm in the slingshot. That's why my hair looks the way it does. So, hey, if somebody were to ask you this, do you have a niche? Do you have a certain specific building style?
I have a niche. My niche seems to have kind of dwarfed into being more of an upper end townhomes. We did General's Run, which was very successful. We've done General's Landing, which is probably the most successful project I've ever had. And then we're working on some other projects now. So townhomes seem to be what I have been doing well in lately.
Now, what would you say a townhome? My fiance Brittany Renee is on here. You need to go shop at her store, by the way, the Exchange Boutique. So
I'll stop by there later.
I need you up there. So, telling people what is a townhome? How would you describe a townhome?
Well, you hear people say condos a lot, townhomes. People who don't want them will tell you they're apartments. But a townhome is basically just units that are connected. But on a townhome, you own the property under it. You own the roof on top of it. You own the walls. You own the brick. You own the unit. Where a condo, they're stacked on top of each other, so you usually own drywall in. And then the HOA owns everything on the outside.
My buddy Tyler Asher's on here. He's from Cookville. Do you know any of the Ashers over there?
Cookville's a little bit down the mountain.
Austin Kepley, he's already jumped on. He's a realtor here in town. He said, save the baby deer. So, hey, keep the comments coming. All right, moving right along. What kind of projects do you like to take on the most?
Townhome projects. I love townhome projects. That seems to be, I'm a builder. That's what we do. That's what we do for a living. So they sell well. People like them. General's Landing right now, Ave has got probably a waiting list of 40 people over there. Everything. We don't even man the model anymore over there because
where is General's Landing?
General's Landing is right across the street from Siegel High School. You've got Carolina Farms over there, which is a Stephen Dotson development, and then we're right beside it, which is General's Landing. It's 129 townhomes and it's 30 single-family homes.
So what would your finishes, whenever you go through one of his homes, I think you are very good at putting a creative flair in there. It's a very easy product to sell. You've sold several of them, haven't you, Weatherman?
Yeah, the products are very nice. They're upscale, they're modern, they're clean. So when you walk in, when you have this real clean look, and it's really hard to pass them up. There's really no comparison to his product.
Brad Elam, a top agent in town, loved them, and he lives in General's Run.
Oh, okay.
So, hey, tell us about your experience with Brian. I'm sure it's been good. I've always had a great relationship working with you. What has been your most successful project that you've taken on?
Well, General's Landing, that's the one I'm doing right now. Alve Hart's my agent over there. She's done a good job representing me over there on it. And the townhome side of that, like I say, we have a waiting list of 40 people for the winter section. So it's been a good project for us.
So why do you think that's been so successful over there? Because that has been a home run.
Good location. I think we've done a good job with the exteriors of them. I think when people drive by them, they look nice. They have a lot of curb appeal. We spent days over painting them different colors to try to get a color scheme we liked. And then I have a good team of people. I have a good superintendent that manages them. I have a good realtor that sells them. I have good people who can be people financed. I mean, it's not just me. It's everybody involved. It makes the deal go smooth, and it seems like we have pretty good luck with them.
Endorsement by Brad Elam. Great. Love doing deals on his builds.
Well,
I
thank you,
like
Brad.
that. Hey,
One of the great things about General's Land, most people don't know, is the price point for the area can't be touched. And also you get a big square footage for the price points you get. So, not to mention you got big driveways, you got all lit up at nighttime. Most people don't know, but he puts the doorbells on the home, so that's a gift that he does to his clients. Now, if he's still doing that, so all the amenities that you get with this house, if you're looking in that price point from 250s to 300s, that square footage, you're not gonna find it. It's just not out there.
That's one thing I learned in Nashville when I was building around some of the national builders is like Jones Company, their website back in the early 2000s used to be buymoreforless.com or something. And you would simplify the building but make the square footage bigger. That way you didn't have all these cut up roofs, wasted space. You could put that money into square footage, and then you put all the lipstick on it. You put the nice granite, the nice cabinets. You put nicer hardware on them. You know, lights. You know, put it like I said, lighting is a huge thing.
I've got a question. So if somebody that watches this and they're going to build a home, where would you tell them to spend money that will give them the biggest wow factors? What helps give you the biggest bang for your buck?
I would say detail to your exterior, like putting the little gable vents in, putting the shake on the gables. That stuff doesn't cost much because it's small sections. Putting nice lights on a house. Having a house that lights up at night automatically. Like General's Landing, we fixed it where all the eave lights light up automatically, where everybody's lights come on at the same time, go off at the same time. General's Run was the same way. And we do that because it just looks nice. You pull in there, it looks safe, everything's lit up, nobody can turn their lights on or off, it comes on automatically.
Now,
Hey,
gutters,
but-
too. If you ever seen his gutters over there,
Well, that's a detail for the exterior. You just put round gutters on it. It may cost you an extra $100, but it's a detail people notice. But I think lighting is probably the thing that you get the most bang for your buck. Lighting and appliances.
Lane Walmack, we're going to talk about you. We'll feature you in a minute, Lane. But he said one of the best things about Brian's builds isn't a need to do a lot of upgrades. J.R. Eastman, local lender. Lane Walmack is also a karate expert, realtor extraordinaire.
He's actually my instructor.
Now, you did say you could beat him up.
I mean, in a real fight.
Maybe
In a real
say-
fight.
In
I
a
could
real
probably take him.
fight, J.R. Eastman talking about lights. Brian's projects on Compton Road always looks fantastic driving by at night. The lighting is great. Carion, Siri, you know Carion. Did you know Carion is the #1 lender in Tennessee?
I know that.
The
You told me.
#1 and like number 15 in the whole wide world. She's up to like 250 million.
And I met her when she was an assistant for a girl at work that I used to use as a lender. So she's moved up a long ways.
one of the best things about General's Landing, why I think it's a smooth, easy process, because they have their selections where they're simplified, they're set up, and you can literally go through in one night and knock everything out. He doesn't have 1,000 colors to choose from, but everything is lined up nice and neat, and they take care of everything. So I'll be and Brian sit down with your client, and it makes for a very, very easy, smooth transaction.
What's another thing I learned from working around national builders and watching Old South, Old South, when I got into building, they were just getting huge. And if you're trying to be successful, you watch people that are successful. And I've watched how they do processes. And even though we build different products, you can take his production line philosophy and put it on yourself, and you can streamline stuff and then still give a person a custom feel to their product.
All right, hey, if you're getting on here, I've got Brian Burns, local developer builder here in town. If you're on here, share the love, share the stream, help me out. So we're going to talk about something now. Lane Wall might come back in there. We might need Lane to come be the bodyguard because now we're going to talk about hidden rivers. So tell us, this is a little controversial, so we're going to talk about that today. So tell us, what is Hidden Rivers?
Hidden Rivers is my new townhome project I'm doing. It's over on the we started out on the Cason Trailhead, if y'all want to look at it.
Can we see that? Get up there,
Anyway, it started out as a 40-acre piece of land we purchased from Cason Trailhead, and it was bought from World Outreach Church, and Lane Womack and his wife Rebecca, the lady of all the brains of the two, put it together, and we bought it from World Outreach Church. And we originally were going to put 350 townhomes there. The problem we have one exit into that project, which was Cason Trail, and the city wanted us to have more exits. For us to get more exits, we had to purchase the land that Rebecca grew up on, Dr. Johns' house and her property that she grew up on. So that gave us another 74 acres. So everybody said, well, you took, and we didn't like 300 townhomes, and now you're putting 700 on there. Well, it's because we added another 3 times the property to do it.
Scott Abernathy's on here. Thank you for getting on here, buddy. If you need to get your home rented, call Scott Abernathy. So let's slow this down a little bit, because when you first bought this, I guess Lane and Rebecca brought this to you. How big was that deal?
It was 40 acres on Cason Trailhead. It was this part here was the original part that we bought off our World Outreach Church.
Did you have a plan in mind the moment you got this deal, or did you know what you was going to do?
I love the property. The minute I got it, I knew it was going to be a little controversial, because everybody had their own little trails cut through the property. People had their own. Some guys were using it had their deer targets in there they were shooting at, and I knew it would be controversial because these people had their own private park to the river with their own private trails. Even now, a lot of people's got their yards cut back in there. So yeah, I knew it was going to be. I also knew the same people that would be protesting this were probably the same people buying over there. People who want to live by the Greenway, who live an active lifestyle.
Okay. Hey, you're getting ahead of me a little bit. You're fast. Got to slow this thing down.
Well, yeah.
We've only been going 11 minutes.
Well, I mean, we can kill some time. We want to talk.
No, well, hey, I got a lot of questions I want to get to. So you started out with a smaller amount of acreage, and then you had the opportunity to get more acreage, right? So how did that happen?
Well, Dr. Johns, who I've known, like I said, I've known Lane and Rebecca for 10, 12 years. Lane's my jiu-jitsu and karate instructor, like you
Do
brought
you think
up.
he could train me? I need Lane to help me
I
out.
don't know if he's a miracle worker now.
He's probably not, but he could still help me.
Now, but anyway, I think Doc and them had decided they wanted to start scaling down, and that was a lot of property to keep up with, and before he passed away, we had met with him, and we worked a deal out to buy his property and add it to this, and then his unexpected death, kind of.
So it looked bad to people. If you didn't know any better, it may look like you went over there and you tried to get this like right after he died. Did the news come out a little bit later? Because it did not happen the way some of the people over there are saying.
Well, no, I mean, the last time I met Dr. Johns, I was sitting in the conference room at Benchmark, and we worked a deal out on his property.
How'd you work it out?
Well, we shook hands, and we prayed beforehand, and we shook hands.
No contracts, no nothing, no fancy
Well, I
stuff?
mean, we got a contract now, but I mean, if you're doing a deal with Doc Johns, you always said a prayer first. If he did a surgery on it, he said a prayer with you first. You shook his hand, and I guess that's how the deal's struck.
Now, wasn't the land on Clark, I don't know if you said it yet, that was Dr. John's as well, right, of the family? Was that?
Yeah, we did cottage on Clark, which Lane and Rebecca also put together, but that was
So you've been doing business with Dr. John's family for
for a couple of years now.
a couple years now. So.
Yeah. I've known Doc through Rebecca and Lane. I mean, I didn't hang out every day with him, but I knew him well enough to talk to him. Or if I needed a fish hook pulled out of my leg or something, I could call him, and he would take care of me.
So there is a process of when you're buying land and you're changing it to get rezoned.
Yes.
So tell us about that process.
Well, the zoning on this land, the original World Outreach zoning is RS10, I think, which means you can get 10,000 square foot lots. So you take 40 acres, you times it by 44,500, that gives you the square footage of land, divided by 10,000. That gives you like 170 lots you could build on there, single family lots.
So no matter what, people or a developer was going to buy this and knock down the trees and knock down.
I mean, somebody was going to eventually buy it. It's not going to sit there forever uninhabited. People going to tell me all they want, how they've been told it was uninhabitable, it's in the floodplain, but the fact is...
Kayla Dodd said, hey.
Well, hello, Kayla. You can build on the floodplain. There's nothing wrong with building on the floodplain.
How do you do that?
Well, engineers that are a lot smarter than me and you have to design it.
How many properties in this town are built on a floodplain, or, you know?
Well, they messed. There's probably been a lot.
There has been a lot.
Well, they most everything on the river, your prettiest lots are in floodplain. Now, the floodway is the big issue, right?
Floodway you can't build on. You can't do anything to. You can clear it, you can mow it, but you can't do any kind of structures on it. I live on a floodway in Celebration Cove.
Right.
But you can, most of the time, like General's Landing, you know, when I did that development, the neighbors come there, and they were a very intelligent group of neighbors, had a nice PowerPoint presentation. They had videos of them taking their paddle boats and paddle boating back and forth after major rains. I mean, they had a big problem. Northborough was put in before there was an engineering department. So, but the only thing that fixed their problem was our development. All of our flood stuff we did on ours fixed their problem. So most of them won't ever have flooding anymore.
Now look here, we've got our preferred insurance guy, Roy Fraser. A lot are built in flood areas, so it's not that uncommon.
It's not uncommon.
But see, here's what happens, and this is what I'm going to get to, and I have nothing to do with this at all. I have no financial interest in it, but it's a very sensitive topic in our town. So there's a lot of people over there that just they hear information, and I think they probably hear wrong information, but they form an opinion based off what they hear, and then it's like it snowballs. So there's a lot of people in this area that are going to be affected. So how do you feel about the people that are going to be affected by that?
The people who are truly affected are the people who border the houses that border me. Mm-hmm. I understand where they're coming from. They've had a private park behind their house ever since they lived there. Mm-hmm. They've had their own private trails cut in. They got their little driving range or chipping range or shooting ranges there that's going away for them. But the problem is they never owned this property. World Outreach Church owned this property. Mm-hmm. World Outreach Church just didn't have a problem with them doing what they did there.
Right.
I didn't buy this to be an empty piece of property. That's not what we do for a living. We bought it to develop, and we're going to try to keep as many trees around the people's houses. I've gave my phone number out to everybody over there saying, if you've got something that you want me to look at, if you're mowing an extra 5 foot and I can keep it, I will do it. I mean, but there's only been 2 people call me, and I gave everybody my mobile number to call me. We're staking the property now, so people will know where their stakes are. So
you're not trying to run from this. You're not trying to avoid it. As a matter of fact, you went to a second hearing, and people came to this, and I guess it was better than you were thinking it was going to be. But you're sitting there, and you're not running from this topic. It is very sensitive.
No, I'm not running. I told the people up front. I said,
being a black belt in jiu-jitsu and karate probably helps you. But
well, if there's about 100, if 100 of them jump on me, I don't know if it's going to help.
But
much.
Somebody was going to do this project.
Somebody is going to do some project there. This is the project I chose, and I've made no bones about it. When I went in front of the planning commission last time, I get tired of hearing people say, well, why can't you do like this in Franklin, or Brentwood does this? I hate that. I want people in Franklin, Brentwood going, damn, did you see that development they did in Murfreesboro? That's what I want. That's how nice I want this neighborhood to be. we had a team of myself, Lane, Rebecca, Jamie Taylor of J. Taylor Designs. There's been a bunch of us put a lot of time and effort to make this, everything from the street lights to the sidewalks to we've got every amenity you can possibly put in a neighborhood in there. There's no neighborhood that's got more amenities than what this neighborhood will have. And I dare to say there's not a neighborhood in town that's going to have more green space.
What type of amenities? Tell us why you would want to live in this neighborhood or in this development.
Start out here on the Cason Trail side. We're going to build a pool house. We're going to have a private entrance to the park itself, so you can get on the greenway. And then one thing I agreed to donate to the city was to put a kayak launching ramp in here for everybody, not just my people that live here, but everybody to be able to use where they can launch kayaks. I know one of the things the city wants to work on is getting a blueway system to go with the greenways.
Mm-hmm. What is a blue? What's that? The river?
River system where they can have kayak here, a kayak here, where you can put in and out on the river and use the river more. I think Stones River is very unused. Mm-hmm. My idea is not to have everything to be a nature preserve. I'd love to be able to have it and go and see a restaurant sitting right on the river where you can sit out in the patio and see a restaurant.
Could they ever do that?
Not here. It's not designed. But there's parts of towns behind, like on old West College and stuff, where the river is. It would be great spots.
Maybe you can do that.
I'll read it. From Tucker.
Yeah, read all that.
From Mr. Tucker Markham. The people that are leading the opposition to that plan are smart enough to know what to tell the average person living in the Cason Lane area to get them fired up about the development, most of which are lies or stretching the truth.
You know, I'm not gonna ask him to say this, I can say it, but I've heard people say like he's doing away with the Greenway. He's shutting down the Greenway.
Shut it down. Make an amenity center out of it. No, nobody else can get on it.
So can you even do that?
No, I can't touch the Greenway. I don't own the Greenway. That would be
You
like,
just put a toll booth and charge like $5 per person.
I know. I mean, I'm not doing away with the Greenway. My whole purpose of buying this piece of property was to be close to the Greenway. I don't want the Greenway. I love the Greenway. Despite what people think, I'm usually on a river or in the woods somewhere every weekend.
Who owns the Greenway now?
Ooh, might need somebody smarter than me to answer, but I think it's owned through the city and through federal grants and
And
stuff.
so that is strictly open to the public, is the public
The Greenway
access?
will never, ever, access will never change. The only thing that's gonna change is what we're building, around the Greenway.
Same way you can go behind Riverbend and all these neighborhoods, Riverview.
You can go behind, same way you can go behind the Dodge store there in the square, or Cannonsboro, that's all on the Greenway.
So here, I've got a question. Do you have a question?
I do have a question. So these townhouses, do they have rooftop access, like patio access? And what would I be looking at?
Well, I have one section of the townhomes where if you're looking here, these will be looking towards the Greenway. And this is sort of gonna be our product line we're gonna put there. We're gonna have those where, like this will be a covered fourth floor here, basically. Where you'll have, we're gonna fix it where you got fireplaces on top of your rooftops. A lot of stuff like you see in downtown Nashville.
I want to show this to the,
How many different designs will you have on the fronts of your building?
Look at that, that's
You have
gonna
like
be-
4 or 5?
I've got 4 or 5 designs for every section I do.
Okay.
This neighborhood, I don't want the misconception to be this is only for rich people to move into.
Sure.
This particular townhome is probably going to be $499 or $350 to $599,000. I've got these townhomes, which is just like what I'm building at General's Landing, with a little bit more modern look, with glass garage doors and stuff on those. Those are going to be the high 2s to mid 3s, basically just like General's Landing. I got this group of townhomes right here. These are going to be basically a duplex. It's going to be set up age targeted for people 55 and older. Where they're all going to be one level, no steps whatsoever. The backs of them are all going to have vegetable gardens where people can put a little garden and stuff in. And then this is the section here. A third of the project is affordable housing. It's going to be stuff. It starts at $199, hopefully, and goes up to maybe the most expensive here will probably $250. I mean, they get use the same amenities, and these are going to be some of the estate type homes on the estate lots that border the river. But everybody's got the same amenities. It's not like if you buy this house and spend $1 million, because I plan on living here. I plan on living on that lot right there.
I plan on moving over there.
Yeah.
Me and Nick the Sticker moving over there. We're gonna be on the river, kid.
So you were asking about amenities, though. We're taking what was Dr. John's home at one time, and probably going to turn it into the clubhouse. That house is as pristine and nice as any house in this county, I would say. But it's got a nice pool and pool house. We're going to put a lap pool there. We're going to put tennis courts there. We're going to put a pickleball court there. We're going to put a basketball court there.
Put a jujitsu, blah blah blah, mat there.
You put you gonna come out there and work?
Me and little Lane's gonna teach me out there. All right, in 5 years, what will people be saying about this? What do you think, if you could get into your little crystal ball, the Brian Burns prediction, what do you believe people will be saying about this?
I think people at the end of the day will say this is the nicest neighborhood in Rutherford County. If somebody is going to make a nicer neighborhood in the future, they better bring it, because I have got this decked out with stuff. I mean, we got a pond with a fishing deck on it. I got the river. I've got so many.
How big
amenities.
is that pond gonna be?
Well, the pond's already there. It's Dr.
How big is it?
I don't know. I would say it's probably a half-acre pond.
It's a good sized pond.
Yeah, it's got a nice little gazebo and a fishing deck on it. I mean, it's got fountain out in it.
You take a lot of pride in making your stuff look good, don't you?
I do. It's very important to me. If I can't drive by it in 20 years and say, wow, I'm really stoked the way that still looks. I still drive by General's Retreat over here on River Rock and say, wow, that looks really nice. I did that 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. So now if I can't make it look nice, I don't want to do it. I'm not a starter home builder. I don't do that well. There's people in town that are incredible at that. That's just not me, though.
Lane said it's a 2-acre pond.
That's a 2-acre pond.
Will you keep fishing it? Will you keep it stocked, or how does that work, or does it take care of itself?
Well, hopefully it takes care of itself, but hopefully we can keep it stocked. It's going to be part of it, yes.
Do
Okay.
you feel like, in your personal opinion, with doing these properties for several years now, will this raise the value of the properties around it?
I would think so. A lot of the houses around it are, they're nice starter home type houses. There's nothing wrong with them. The people there are not, they're good people. They just don't like our project. I don't know how I can hurt their property values. There's nothing I'm putting in that's going to be less than most of the houses.
Well,
up
what if
there.
they say it's going to be the traffic? Well, you've got an opinion about if it is the traffic.
Well, I mean, if it's the traffic, the traffic is going to drastically change over. You got a 4-lane road on 99. It should be done, I would imagine, next year. The city's talked about putting a bridge on River Rock, right there by the old tennis complex, which gives you another exit straight over. We don't live in a small Mayberry town anymore.
And this is a good thing, though. I've heard you say this before. This will force the city to take action sooner instead of letting these things drag on.
Well, most people will say, well, why don't we let infrastructure catch up to development? Well, the city's not going to go in and start building stuff hoping that people like me or other builders come out and build right behind it. They want to see something built, then they react to it. That's just smart sense. I'll probably get roasted for saying this, but I don't care.
Say it anyway.
I personally think traffic's the most overrated, talked about thing in this town. Mm-hmm. There is times when it's hard to get out in certain areas. I don't go to those areas at those times.
Right.
You can, if you know where you live, you find back ways in and out of stuff. People do all the time. I don't have to go down the busiest road, down the busiest intersection. I know some people may have to, but I think traffic is the most overrated, talked about thing in this town.
And obviously, I don't think traffic has ever really been an issue for any development when you're going through planning, has it? Because
I'd have to defer that to the planning people, but I don't think so.
right, because we're going to have traffic issues regardless, because we're a booming city and a booming town around one of the most booming cities in the United States.
I was at that neighborhood meeting and I heard somebody go, why don't y'all become like Franklin? Franklin did this. Well, a week later I was in Franklin and was sitting in traffic for like 15 minutes. I was like, yeah, this is great. You can go sit in traffic in Woodbury at 5 o'clock. I can go to Woodbury and sit through a red light a couple times.
Yeah.
Well, it just gives you a reason to complain. It gives you a valid objection. So Lane said properties will maintain their value, especially with the single lots availability, and if the homeowners will keep it updated, which is the same with any home. That's exactly right. I think in 5 years this is going to be something. Other people will be duplicating something like this.
Absolutely.
I see in the future neighborhoods where you'll go and you'll have a little restaurant or maybe like a little bar or a little restaurant. There's going to be more and more of that mixed use coming. And I know Brian takes a lot of pride in this. And the one thing I appreciate about Brian is he'll always, he don't run from you. He ain't gonna sit there, and again, it's probably because he can beat everybody up. I don't know. But, he'll sit there and he'll give you his opinion. And he won't lie to you. There ain't no bullshit in his game. So I really, really appreciate that. Do we have any other questions before we let him off the hook here?
One quick one, I just was curious, was General's Retreat, the one you mentioned earlier on River Rock, was that your first kind of condominium development?
Yeah, we started Blue Sky up. It was our first project for townhome. I'd done some in Nashville and stuff, but yeah, that was our very first. We started that project in 2008, right in the middle of recession. Everybody, I think we were the biggest project going in town. Everybody said we were crazy.
Hey, my best friend Adam Wright's on here. Hey, he says it's already a trend in Florida, which his neighborhood, you can go to bars, you can go to a restaurant. See, we're just lagging behind around here. We lag because we don't know if it'll work. And since we don't know if it'll work, nobody wants to jump in and try it first. So it really takes big old kahunas
there's risk
to do what he's doing. I'm glad you're doing it.
There's risk too.
How big are the risks?
You can go broke. Or maybe developers and builders over the years, have you heard just go broke? You have to plan it out. That's why I'm putting a product line of stuff I already built in here and a piece of property that I think is gorgeous. But there's a risk to everything you do, and I think there's $200 million in sales in this project. So
this will go from this. My opinion is this: we will go from complaining about this to one day we'll be bragging about it. our town will be bragging about this development over there. I'm almost certain of that.
I got one other thing I want to say.
You say it, man. Where you going?
You know, the city.
Fucking nothing.
The city council got a lot of heat and stuff over the tax increases, and I heard people saying, "Well, you make the builders, make the developers pay for it." We already do. We pay a $1,500 impact fee to the county already.
On every lot, or how's that work?
To every house that's ever built in Rutherford County gets charged $1,500. The Dr. Johns paid. I think this was considered greenbelt for him. He paid like $8,000 in taxes. World Outreach Church paid nothing in taxes on his property. This project we figured it out. This project completely built out each year will bring the city and county nearly $2 million in taxes a year in. It brings in like $4 or $5 million in water and sewer hookup fees. It brings in, I think, I'm just guessing on the numbers I have in front of me, about $3 million in development taxes to the county. I mean, to say that this is a property that brought in $8,000 in taxes altogether, and when it's all finished and built out, assuming the tax rate doesn't change, it'll bring in over $1.5 million to the municipalities, or it's like $1.7 million, I think. So development pays for itself. Most of the people buying from here are not moving here. They're people moving out of other homes that already live here. The kids have left. They want to move down, and they want to have to take care of a yard.
Man, I've been going 30 minutes with this guy. Can you believe that? Is there anything, anybody else? CT, what's up, my friend? How are you? Is there anything you want to add? You in the front row right there. In the purple shirt. Yeah, you with the King's hat.
You're going to stick with karate, right?
Mr. Taylor's going to be proud. All right, everybody, I appreciate it. If you've watched this, share the stream. This is very controversial in our town right now. There's people that are very upset about this, but I really don't know if they have enough information to make a decision. I think they hear things, but this could be something a lot worse. This could be something that's 10,000 square foot homes that are very boring. That does not help our city. So sometimes our best alternative is something that we don't like, but it's still the best alternative. Everybody have a great day, and thank you for coming on.